Hello and welcome to everyone watching out there. Today at Tailored Health, we are going to go through a very common problem that we see in ourselves as exercise physiologists, but also in a lot of the clients that come into Tailored Health, and that is, I'm just not motivated. And this can, change over time and often go up, throughout a day, a year, month, and things like that. So today, I'm really excited to deliver and bring to you the secret motivation formula. And what you can do is you can use this as a framework to really help you get through or guide you to start doing these healthier habits that you want to implement into your life. So without further ado, let's get started on the I'm just not motivated little workshop here. And it is going to be practical. So at the end of this, I'm very hopeful, but also optimistic that you guys are going to walk away with a lot better understanding of how motivation works and also how you can use it to your advantage to get the things done that you want to do to get healthier. So I just wanted to go next slide, which is here. So motivation, I just looked up a definition here, and it is a reason or reasons for acting or behaving in a particular way. So let's go on to the next slide here, and you're going to see the secret motivation formula. So motivation is equal to PES3. So it's really, really helpful that it rhymes, because then it can also become quite memorable. So PES3, we're going to break down what all this means in just the next few minutes. So the first part of the equation for motivation is purpose. Okay, so what I want you to do here is just think of purpose. Perhaps it might be easier if you think of reasons, and that can be anything. So whatever the healthy activity is that you want to bring into your life, it could be exercise, could be eating, sleeping more, whatever it might be, just try and think purpose, or what reasons do I want to take on this new habit? And then from there, I just want you to think about someone who has a lot of reasons and a high purpose to do something. Are they more likely to be motivated to take action versus someone who has zero reasons to do something or a very low purpose to do something? So I'd definitely be leaning towards that person who has a lot of reasons to be taking that positive action that they're after. So the next step, so we've got P is purpose, and then we've got E is equal to energy. So energy is a huge topic, and basically lots of things impact it. We've got, off the top of your head, obviously your activity levels, you've got sleep, you've got the food that you're having, you've also got the mood that you're in, the people you're around. These can all impact your energy levels. And I guess if you can now think of someone who has lots and lots of reasons and lots of energy, do they come across as someone who is motivated to do the task or do their activities, or someone who has maybe low energy along with not many reasons? You can start to see the difference as to the motivation levels on each side. So they're two of the components so far. The final part, so S3, you can see it stands for small, simple step. And this is really, really important that we look to get this right, because often what happens with motivation is if we've got too big of a step, or we've got a mountain of work to do, or it seems too hard, are you going to be more motivated or less motivated? And my guess is that the bigger the task, particularly if it's new and it's hard, you're going to be less motivated. So what we can see here, again, if we can get the right reasons for acting or behaving in a particular way, we're going to be more motivated to do it. And this last slide here, you can clearly see the person on the left who has a really high purpose, lots of reasons, high energy, and they have like a number of small, simple steps to get started with. They're going to have a lot higher motivation than the person on the right-hand side who has no real reasons to do something, very little energy to even try that task. And if you've got no starting point, then it's really, really hard to be motivated. So let's just go through like a practical example here, and we've got Claire and Phil on here live as well. So we'll get them. I think the more practical examples you can hear and see, the more likely you're going to get ideas to implement this yourself. So say you were trying to improve your motivation to go for walks during your lunch break. Purposes and reasons for this is it might be that it clears your head, it helps keep your fitness up, and it also can help to keep the weight steady. And then if you think about the next part in the equation, we've got energy. So if you know you're not a morning person and you often have a spike in energy just before lunch, I think that that's why a lunchtime walk is going to be best suited for this person. And then if you can think of the small, simple step, could be just to set a phone reminder called lunchtime walk at 12 p.m. So basically, if you were to do all of those things, I'm going to bet that your motivation is higher to go for these lunchtime walks. And as a result, your behavior or action taking to bring this healthier habit into your life is going to be a lot more successful. So what I'd like us to do now is time to get more motivated. We want you to be able to practically implement this straight away. So what's going to happen here is I want you just now to think of a healthy habit you are wanting to bring into your life. It could be very small or it could be a big one that you've been meaning to get onto for quite a while. And the first step, hopefully you're saying P for purpose. And we are just going to spend a little bit of time now to list all the positive reasons you can think of for starting this new healthy habit. And I might throw it to Claire here, if that's okay, just to share with us a healthy habit you've been working on or looking to implement, and maybe some positive reasons.
Yeah. A habit I've been looking to implement just recently is doing a 20-minute home exercise program overnight just before I go to bed as part of my nighttime routine. A few of the positive reasons why this habit would be helpful for me is I know that my body will be more mobile and feel like I'm moving better, which will then mean that when I'm in the gym, I'll feel like I'm moving better and be able to get stronger with my program. I might have more energy when it comes to my race walk training because my body feels like it's moving better. And I'm probably more likely to stay on top of the little niggles and injuries that might pop up from training a lot. So yeah, they're the main positive reasons for doing a home exercise program in the PM for me, and PM being it's a nice little time when I don't actually have anything else to do. So yeah,
Nice.
that's what works for me. Yeah.
Awesome. And I hope, those of you watching have had a chance to think of some positive reasons that you can bring into behind the habit that you're looking to implement. And Claire, if I can just go next slide now, and if we can spend a little bit of time here, maybe you might have one list bigger than the other, and that's okay. But if you could maybe just give us one example of maybe a consequence that you can think of if you did not start this home exercise program habit at home. And I just wanted to touch on this quickly, is motivation can be two ways. We can go towards a carrot, or we can get a stick and a bit of a whack up the behind. So I'm not saying that everyone's a donkey, but in terms of motivation, we're either motivated to go towards something, or we're going to get motivated by something that's going to give us a little push along. So can you just list maybe one thing for us?
Yeah, I definitely think I started looking to start this habit because I'm a bit of a donkey. So what I mean by that is I was getting knee pain during race walking, and to the point where I had to stop training early and sort of change into running, which isn't what I wanted to do for the training session. So that knee pain was as a result of not doing certain exercises frequently enough. So that knee pain is the negative consequence. If I don't do my home exercise program, my knees tend to get quite sore. So yeah, that's my driver from the negative consequence line.
Yep. And I think that's perfect, and I appreciate you sharing, and it's perfectly fine to have negative consequences if they're going to help motivate us to take a positive action, if that makes sense. And that's what you've done there. So that's fantastic. And I'm going to move on to the next part of the equation. Hopefully you're thinking E, and E equals energy. So I'm going to get Phil to help share here. And I want you to list perhaps when you're feeling at your best and when you maybe feel like you've got the most energy to tackle this new habit that you're looking to bring into your life. So Phil, can you share that example that you have?
Yep. So I find that when my energy is highest, it's actually as I'm getting home from work. I know that if I sit down, then it's pretty much all over. So I've got to try and, like when that energy is high, do the small, simple steps, which is probably the next part of it, that, go ahead and get changed into my workout gear and then head out for my run.
Perfect. So, have you been getting active the first thing you do when you get home from work? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And that's a great recognition. And I think a few people might share that with you, that you've got that little window before you sit down for the day to really get active, because that's when your energy is still at a high enough level. I think, can you maybe elaborate on this one? We've just gone to the next slide. It's also really important we have this self-awareness as to when our energy is feeling low, or we might feel like we have no energy. So why did you pick after work or when you get home versus perhaps another time of the day?
Well, yeah, like I said, it's probably that time where I'm still on the go and I haven't slowed down yet. So it's going to take less energy to sort of reactivate myself to get into moving, as opposed to sitting down, calming down for 5 to 10 minutes, and then going, oh, hang on a second, now I've got to get up and then I've got to get changed and put the shoes on and get organised to go for that run. So it's been that's good. Like, that's the low end side of it.
Yeah, good. And that's where, like if I said you got to do this exercise at 10 p.m. or you got to do it at 5 a.m., like for you, you might find, are they peak energy states or low energy states?
Yeah, so it's probably definitely that peak energy state is when I'm getting home from work, as opposed to waiting where that energy drops.
And that's why I think it's important. We'll just note it here. Everyone's got different cycles throughout the day. Like for me, I like to be active in the morning, but that's me, and I'm different to Phil, and he feels better exercising after he gets home from work. And you'll find your own rhythm, but it's also just important to know when you're not at your highest energy level. And I just wanted to touch base on, this can be wider than just the times throughout day to day. You might have sleep impacting your energy levels. You might have your food impacting your energy levels and things like that. I mean, we've all had food comas or after a Christmas lunch or something like that. So these are all examples, and that's where there's bigger topics behind these, but we just want to touch base so that you can really get your hands into it as to how you can get more motivated. So we're going to go on to the small, simple steps, our third part of the equation. So now I want you to come up with one small, simple step that you can take that will help you implement the healthy habit. Now, my note at the bottom is that to be a small, simple step, it needs to be something you can basically do straight away, but definitely in the next 24 hours, or else it's not a small, simple step. So I'll probably get Claire and Phil if you've got an example of a small, simple step that you did to help you get the home exercise program, or to help you get that activity straight in after work. So we might start with Claire. Was there...
Yeah, the way I got the ball rolling with this one is I set up an alarm for 8 p.m. at night. It was called iRock, and it was just a reminder that how good I'll feel after doing my home exercise program. So that's a little extra bit of motivation. But yeah, it was the alarm that reminds me, okay, it's time to do your exercises, because it's 8 o'clock at night. And that was, the first step I took.
Good. Can you tell me, how long did that small, simple step take you to actually set up?
Under 30 seconds.
Amazing. And then what impact has it had? You've been doing this for a few weeks now. Like, how many more times have you done this home exercise program versus without the alarm probably?
I'm hitting pretty good numbers, like 5 days out of 7. Yep. There are times when I'm doing something else at 8 o'clock, but I find even just having the alarm, even if I switched it off, I'm more likely to do it at 8:30 or 9 o'clock when I do come down to sit down at the telly or whatever it is. It just reminds me, oh, that's right, I rock, and I'll feel really cool if I do this home exercise program.
Yep, that's awesome. And that's my point there, is some of the small, simple steps can be like, exponentially helpful. Yep. Getting that activity levels done and all that goal done, and that's awesome. 30 seconds to have all of those sessions done each week, I think, is a good investment. So Phil?
Yep, so my small simple step is probably what we call habit stacking. So pairing it up to what I touched on before with getting home from work,
Mhm.
and then just habit stacking like putting gym clothes on so that I can get in those like runs or rides that I plan on getting done anyway.
Awesome. So having that active wear close by and the trigger of getting home from work on top of one another really makes that habit a bit easy to do.
Yeah. So like I touched on before, it's decreasing that sort of activation energy
Yeah.
that it sort of just takes to get it done. So when you are in those clothes or in the mindset of I'm going to go for this run, you're more likely to do it.
It's often hard. I've done it, but it's hard to walk past your active wear into the house, to the couch, to the fridge. If you put them in the right place,
Yeah.
I think, again, that small, simple step can have a huge impact on how often you're getting those workouts in. So hopefully by now you've come up with your small, simple step. You might have already taken it already. And I really hope that you've been able to stick along and implement with us. And yeah, big congratulations. Round of applause. Pat yourself on the back right now if you're watching there at home, because you now know how to increase your motivation to implement any habit in your life. You can always come back to those 3 like levers, I call them, or 3 drivers of motivation, and you can always look to upskill or improve on them just to help keep your motivation levels up to bring those healthy habits into your life. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and keep an eye out for what else we have coming up in the future.